Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, and welcome to day 8 of, hopefully, well, it was supposed to be a one-day build. Hopefully this is going to be the last day of said one-day build, we shall see. We're in my home studio, and this is a Star Wars-inspired instrument that I started building in celebration of hitting 300,000 subscribers. It was going to be a one-day build. That just didn't happen. Behind the scenes, I have got my sister Talitha, manning the computer. Say hello, Talitha.
Hello, Talitha.
Thank you. She remembered from last week. It's a silly joke, but it makes me happy. So yeah, Talitha's in for now. There is going to be some chopping and changing of personnel. It is a half-term week, so we've got children at the house, so my wife won't be necessarily around unless Talitha fancies going upstairs and spending some time with the kids. Burn it. I'm having fun. Hey, yeah. It is very, very windy out here. I don't think you're going to hear it. I don't think it's going to massively impact on the stream, but yeah, if you hear that, that's what that is. I am aware that a lot of you are listening on headphones. I cannot control the weather. Where we are at with this is I've got a bunch of sanding to do. I don't enjoy sanding. I don't enjoy that side of things, but it needs to be done. Let's do a poll. Should Ben carry on messing and glue on another sheet of aluminium onto the back plate in a pleasing and attractive manner, or should we just glue on the two sections that we currently have? While you guys are talking about that, I'm actually going to start the gluing process of getting these two in place. This is just for the look of the thing, basically. Now before I glue it down, I need to tidy up the edges a little bit, and I need to bevel them a fraction as well. So out with a leveling beam. What does this poll say?
71% don't add any more aluminium, just keep the two.
Okay, thank you. Keep me in check, people. Keep me in check. Another poll. Should we etch the hell out of the top, or should we leave it clean and pretty? We've got those. It's quite attractive. I need to scratch up the back. What does the poll say?
53% leave it clean.
All right, we're leaving it clean, people. So the keying here is to give the epoxy something to grip onto while we glue it down. We also need to sand this back. So what I'm going to do is start sanding. I've got some good extraction now set up. Do you ever find that when you've got multitudinous things to do, there's always that one thing that just seems to not exist for you? And of course I've made shapes here that are gonna be really difficult to sand with the sander that I have. So I'm gonna have to scrape and sand by hand, I think. So of course the second I moved the camera over, it decided to...
Stop blowing so hard.
Yeah, it's not so hard.
Super chat from Mutley von Erich.
Mutley von Erich, good name.
If Boba Fett is being played live, is it a mosh pit or a Sarlacc pit?
Sarlacc, emphatically. Okay, we've actually allowed ourselves to become distracted, and I blame you guys. What we were supposed to be doing is sanding down a little bit so I could get these gluing up, and you just distracted me with this sanding. So it's, yeah, coming together. I'm going to fine sand this to 240 by hand. Okay, so this inside is going to be painted at some point a little bit later today with shielding paint, so that's fine. I like that a lot. I need to mix some epoxy, I need some gloves. I require something to mix this on. Let's start by just putting a clamp actually as a depth stop. A stop. We've got a clamp on one side as a stop. It should be pretty good. So there we go. Clamp holding that in place on there. And then we have another one coming in here, just acting as a stop so that when it's located in that corner, that's it, it's done. That is located now. Okay, so I've got a locating gap there. Go this way. There we go, alrighty. Ah, no, Spooge, save me. So this is a vintage artist's palette knife. This is a very, very flexible one. It's probably actually too flexible for what I'm trying to do here. But yeah, it's fine. This is 5-minute epoxy. So we don't want to hang about now. I have mixed more than I need, that's for damn sure. going not right up to the edge because it'll spooge out anyway under pressure. That should do. Good. It's just starting to cure now, or to go off at least, and we're done. That's fine.
I wonder if
think I
they
got
can
distracted.
turn that into a lightsaber.
Knew these scallops are going to be a problem
Then why'd you do them?
because they're so pretty. So I'm using a spindle from the Triton spindle sander as a round sanding block. I love this shape. You guys are going to get more guitar builds out of me this year than probably in the last 2 or 3. My other best friend, the scraper. There we go. So that makes it look like the veneer is going up further than it really was. And it's solidified the end of the rosewood. And that's quite nice now. Now the only thing is I've still got epoxy there. I'm going to use the chisel as a scraper, which is actually a really bad thing because chisels are nice and sharp and not supposed to be used as scrapers, but hey, I'm a naughty boy, I am. The sanding bit of a guitar build is, without a doubt, potentially the single most annoying section of it. It has to be done, it takes a long time, and it just is what it is. Unless you're burning it, of course, which is an option. So, to recap, For all those of you that have just joined us, the instrument has not changed all that much. I have been doing a lot of sanding, a lot of finessing of carves and curves and things. The teardrop carves that we've got in here took quite a lot of work. I've been using the Merca and various kidney-shaped scrapers and sandpaper and spindles from the spindle sander being used as round sanding blocks, but the whole thing is now coming very close to being finished. I've managed to get black super glue on that bit somehow. It's going to take another probably 10 minutes on the Merca random orbital and a little bit more work by hand. We have decided that we're going to stain the flame maple neck section with the Oxblood Vibrant Stunning Stains, one of the new colors from Crimson. That was done via a pole, and we're going to be using guitar finishing oil rather than a rattle can finish, because I would very much like to finish this guitar today. We've also via pole decided against using a 3-way or a 5-way blade switch. We're going to use individual toggles to turn each individual pickup on. It's going to give a whole hell of a lot of flexibility, and should also be a little bit easier to wire up, which is nice. These highlight sections onto our thing. Okay, that's not glued, it's magnetized. We got it. I know what's happening. And meant to do that. The really interesting thing is that I've pushed them out a little bit so that the aluminium actually goes over the edge, which is going to hide the small gaps that were in the bit, in the guitar. So we need to tidy that up. It's going to make the staining process for me easier if we do just stain the whole thing. The oxblood would make the mahogany much darker, obviously, but yeah, it's going to be similar or better to what Gibson do with their mahogany. So, yeah, I'm game.
So the options are whole guitar, or what was the other option?
A whole guitar or just the neck. But before we do the poll, I need to run a quick test on a.
You need to do a test. Okay,
yeah.
Ready when you are.
Okay. I am dusty, yes I am. So stains. This is called a stain, but it's essentially the same stuff. It's a dye, really. Gloves, people. So here we go. I've shaken that up quite nicely. Now this is one of the new Vibrant stains. So yeah, it's a particularly gorgeous color. Guitar finishing oil. Just to show you what it would look like in the end. So you see it's not lifting huge amounts, but it does lift up a bit. So there is a test, and in fact I almost don't want to do a poll because I love that so much. But what do you guys think? So are we gonna put the Vibrant Oxblood stain on the whole guitar or just the neck? Oh yes, I'm working on the backplate, aren't I? Let's just get the rest of that.
David Loveland's asking, is the wind from Eunice, or is that all over? This is the second storm after Eunice now. This is Franklin, isn't it?
All right, so that's the back plate is almost done. Almost. Actually, is there a pole still going?
It is going. 60% staying whole guitar, so it's pretty split.
60. No, that's
That's
about as emphatic as they get. No, end the pole. I think that's
End?
pretty much it.
Okay.
So yeah, we're staining the whole guitar, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm sanding the aluminium in the same direction as the grain.
So 3 more episodes?
Yeah.
4?
Maybe. So here's where this goes. I am very, very happy with this. I'm very, very happy with that. It's almost like that sander was literally designed to go into corners.
Shocking.
Nobody told me. Nobody told me I had one in the back of the room. I'm disappointed. tone controls are required. Absolutely. I mean, not quite centered, but not bad for a guess from the top when you're sort of thinking, you know, roughly where it is. The other one might end up a little bit too close to this edge, but we can always carve that away if required internally. I've got my straight lines marked, that's no problem. I now need to think about how far away I want them. And yeah, that's about right. All right, we know what we're doing. Let us crack on with the stain, etc. And what we actually need to do is, first of all, raise the grain a little bit. So there is going to be a little bit more sanding. Relatively dry. Just damp it down and see if you can see any lines, any sanding marks that need to be taken out. Generally, it's not a problem. Actually, that seems to be okay, pretty much. So there's a scratch there. That is a problem. And this is best practice when you're going to use water-based stains in any case, to raise the grain before you go. People, we did really well with this whole sanding malarkey. We really did. So there we go, we're almost dry already. It's a little bit furry, the grain has been raised a little bit, and I need to go again with 240 grit paper, just over it, just quickly. There's only one spot that really was an issue. In fact, now that the water's gone, you can see there's actually some serious scratching all the way along here that I didn't catch. The scratches there, scratches there. So fairly coarse grain scratches that have been raised now. Okay, so I'm just feeding the whole instrument, and there may well be some scratches. I might, after we've applied the stain, there might be a few spots where I have to go back and sand back a little bit. So take your stain. This is the Vibrant Stunning Stain. It is a water-based stain, and it should say that on the label. We're gonna have to do that. Give that a good shake. You then take a bit of tissue. I'm surprised at how much of this we sell, and I'm not surprised. I know how difficult it is to find good quality, hard-wearing, strong tissue paper. This is the best I've ever found, and yeah, I sincerely hope the company stays in business forever. It's all good. Now I'm applying this very dry. Yeah, we don't want drips or nonsense. Of course, it's right about now that I realise that I haven't yet drilled the hole for the jack, but hey, it doesn't matter. So here we are. There was a new thing and we've gone down to there. So actually you could probably do 10 guitars with just one bottle. Okay, so at this point I am just rubbing away the excess stain, buffing it off, and coming up with a fairly sexy finish. Now it is a stunning stain, it is also a vibrant stunning stain that you cannot deny. So I'm just buffing off the excess. Okay, now just before we get on to the next, basically before the next stream, I'm going to paint in some Rearguard shielding paint. I understand that we're going to be drilling through it and making a mess, and I might need to touch it up a little bit, but doing it now gives it a almost a week to cure and dry, and that is necessary because this stuff gets everywhere. Yeah, shielding paint. It's high carbon. It's really good stuff. I've just realised that I need to stain just inside the edge of this. We're good. Okay, penetrating guitar finishing oil, flooding as much as we can on there, and spreading it out. And with your first coat, you just want to slather it on. You don't want to let any drips stay drippy for too long, if at all possible. Rub them in. Now I'm not worried about the rosewood on the front. Pay special attention to the end grain, because the end grain wants to suck up the stain a lot more than the rest of the guitar. And of course I've gone and created corners. Spread out some finish on the rosewood. Got some clean tissue here. And then finally the headstock. Now I'm just going to be applying more and more coats of the penetrating oil over each other, and just building it up and not letting it actually cure. So it's penetrating into the timber and slowly building itself up. Once it starts sitting on top and sort of pooling and stopping the penetration, that's when I'm thinking, okay, cool, at this point we rub it down and we're done. Can you see how it's not penetrating quite as deep now? Although I haven't been placing enough in here, come to think of it. So at this point, we flooded maybe a quarter of a bottle actually into the wood. And I'm starting to think about rubbing it back a little bit and moving on to the high build. That's basically dry. Okay, so there's still damp bits. I'm just going to go over the whole guitar and rub off any excess. Now, in my other hand, I'm going to hold that and we can manipulate the guitar and see where we're at. As a final thing, I need to go inside the edges of the cavity. I don't want any finish built up inside that cavity because that will cause trouble. I also don't want to spread any of that shielding paint over the rest of the finish. High build. So we've got a lot less stain coming up because most of it's sealed in now. And I just want to build a single coat of this up.
That flaming has really come out.
Oh yeah,
it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, so it's the Vibrant Oxblood Stain, which is one of my favorite colors, and yeah, and about a half hour of guitar finishing. Well, so the end grain, I am still having some oil poke through the open pores of the grain, and that is also bringing some stain with it. But the stain that's actually on the top of the guitar is perfectly stable, and then once the oil is finished, we will be fine. We're there. I mean, it's so damn close. I can't believe it's not finished. It is also 7.5 hours into a stream and I need to go home. Bye-bye now.